Seatopeninsincity, the podcast covering all things poker related, particularly as it relates to Las Vegas. I'm Bike King 19, aka Andrew Pieper, joined by my lovely co-host Spike McAwesome. And so let's get into this week's podcast. What do you got, Spike?
As you know, the World Series of Poker is wrapping up. We are at the final table of the main event right now. I know a lot of these guys have been grinding for days and days and days and days. Like the example I gave my wife to show exactly how intense this tournament is. It's a 50K starting stack, in case you didn't know. The shortest stack when they got down to 9-handed final table was 18 million. The amount of chips in play in this tournament is just crazy to me. But now we are down to the final three. I have absolutely no information about any of these guys because I've never heard of them before, so I have no idea what their story is. Looks like it's going to be a great final tale or a great final three. Can't wait to see how this wraps up because I know that this is the big event that everybody looks forward to every year. I don't know if you've got a horse in this race. I know that your BFF, Daniel Negreanu, busted out. But what do you think about this one? Because I frankly have no idea what to think of these three guys that are left.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting so far. The bigger storylines going into were obviously Ryan busting 10th and final table bubbling after making the final table last year. That was a pretty big story. And then there's Ben Lamb, who's back, who made it in 2015, I believe, or one of the previous years, not too long ago. So that's pretty neat. And then obviously John Hesp, who busted last night in 4th or 5th. Can't remember which one, but that was a pretty big story with a true amateur who's only did normal like 10 pound buy-ins over in Europe, and now he's playing with multi-$1,000 pay ladders for each spot. Was pretty neat to see. I think a lot of the poker world enjoyed seeing that. So haven't really followed any of these final three guys. It looks like the chip leader, what's his name? Forget the name.
I'd say I'm going to edit it in later, but I'm not. I'm just going to let you stammer on for a while.
The guy who doubled aces against Hesp is ace-10 on ace-7-10 board. He looks like he's in pretty good shape to take it down. Although I think Ott also isn't that far behind him in chips. But should be a cool day. So that's about it for. And then after this wraps up, that'll be it for the World Series. There's a couple other small series like Venetian Deep Stacks still going on for a couple weeks, so Wynn has a few things going on, I think. But as far as main things, Bellagio Cup, 10K already wrapped up. Most of this signifies the end of the poker summer.
With this final table, we know that Poker Go has been the online streaming site showing all of the coverage for the World Series this year. The main event was no exception, but the final table, I guess this has been the problem because the final table has been predominantly, if not in totality, on ESPN. Now, people that are our age, or we've got like 15 years between us because you're like 12 years old, but the people that are probably most likely to watch this thing are the people that are most likely going to be the cord cutters, because our generation, or our generations, I should say, just
we're not in the same one.
No, we're clearly not. These aren't people that are paying for cable anymore, and not having a streaming option for this thing, I think, has been killing them. I have read nothing but complaints about Poker Go online. I have not seen a single good thing or a single positive thing about it, except for people like Negreanu, who I don't know if he's getting paid by them, but I know he's got some kind of affiliation work with them through a special promo code. So I'm curious to see how this goes in the long run, because I know that they're going to start doing more and more, like Poker Night in America is coming back through them.
Poker After Dark.
So, they're going to have more and more events. Hopefully this was just the the baby steps and the learning process, and they'll get the kinks ironed out in the future. But I don't know. Did you subscribe to this thing? Did you enjoy the coverage?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I subscribed to it. But yeah, like you said, there seemed to be quite a few complaints. They actually streamed for free last year more events than they did this year, and most of the events, a lot of the complaints seemed to be like, one, there wasn't enough streams, two, most of the streams were all no limit hold'em, and a lot of people who were subscribing also wanted to see a lot of the mixed games. The 50K Players Championship wasn't streamed. The final, not even the final table was. So there's definitely some valid complaints, I think, for people, especially when you had more things being streamed last year that you didn't have to pay for. And then the main event coverage seemed to be going really well. They kind of split time a little bit throughout the days with ESPN, but majority of it was on PokerGo, and it seemed to be pretty good. And then once they got to the final table, however, if you're in the United States, you cannot watch the final table on PokerGo. It's only on ESPN, so if you don't have a cable subscription or a cable login, you're SOL for watching the final table.
But it is crazy because ESPN, of all of the cable channels, they're the ones that seem to be struggling the most. I don't know. They've been losing thousands upon thousands of subscribers either through cable outlets or through their online presence. They've laid off, not just like interns and desk workers, but like prominent guys that are
let off a lot of people in the past few years, and had they've had layoffs in the hundreds of people. So it's been kind of absurd, but it's the world we live in, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, they've got the money. They're the ones that are going to go in there and say we want this coverage. So more power to them for being able to do that. But I mean, for us as fans, it seems a little. I don't want to say that we're getting robbed of this because we're not. I mean, the coverage is still out there, and if we really wanted to go watch a mixed game or the 50K final table, then we could have just gone down to the World Series. But I don't know. There's something about this that it just doesn't seem right to me. Like, it doesn't compute. Like, there should be a way that we can get the coverage, even for those that don't have cable. They should be able to see this. And the crazy thing too is a lot of the people, like if I'm playing around town, we're talking about the main event or whatever, and I bring up PokerGo. More often than not, the people I talk to are just like, ugh, who wants to watch poker? It's like, I understand that, maybe it's not the most exciting spectator sport. It's certainly better than NASCAR, but it's not like, I'd rather watch poker than basketball, but I mean, that's just my own. Yeah, I know. Well, I grew up in Boston in the 80s. God forbid I should like the Celtics. But no, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't understand how companies haven't figured out that if the content is out there, we would like it. Don't make it hard for us to get, because when you make it hard for us to get, then that's when streaming comes in, or illegal streams or illegal downloads or everything else. Like, if people want the content, they're going to find a way to get the content. Either they're going to give you $10 a month for it, or they're going to go out and get it on their own.
I think anyone should have like a reasonable right to be upset if they're paying. You're paying to watch poker, and it gets down to the final table of the main event, literally the most exciting thing that you've been waiting for all year. And if you're in the United States, you can't watch it. Like, that seems kind of dumb.
Yeah, but they're trying to protect their assets, and they're doing a pretty piss poor job of it. But like I said, let's see, maybe next year, because we talked about this in the last episode, that the World Series and poker in general, they tend to overcorrect, but it takes them a while to get there. So next year for the World Series, they may not be able to make any changes during this coming year, but at next World Series, hopefully we'll see better coverage or more complete coverage or more tables, more events, more options for us to see these things. Who knows? Maybe I'm naive. I don't know.
Right, yeah, I do think that that changes probably should and will be coming. It remains to see what exactly those will be, but with all the complaints that they've had, I can't imagine that they would just keep it where it is.
Yeah. All right. So in the meantime, even though the World Series is wrapping up, that doesn't mean that poker in Las Vegas has dried up. You want to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, games you've been running, if you've had any good experiences out there?
Catch games still seem to be running pretty regularly. Not as many during the day as there used to be now, which is understandable. But still, even on the weekdays, there still seems to be a fair number going, and the quality doesn't seem to have dropped off all that much yet. A couple of nights ago, I ended up meeting up with another vlogger, Poker Kraut, who and played a little bit with him. We discussed an upcoming vloggers game that I, Boski, Nimi, who else? Ray's Rail, and a couple other people are going to be playing in Sacramento on the 26th, which is next Wednesday of next week, commentated by Bart Hansen and someone else from Stone's Gambling Hall. So that should be pretty neat.
Yeah, so that's, you said Sacramento. That's a cash game, correct?
Correct, yeah. It's going to be a 5-5 no limit.
Okay. And you have to provide your own buy-in, right? I know
right.
They're not giving you the money for the game. Are they paying for your accommodations, your travel, anything like that?
They are paying, I guess, for the good vloggers, so I wasn't included.
You're young yet. And once this podcast takes off, then you will be amongst the giants of the industry. Is this an industry? I don't know. We're not making any fucking money off this.
Nimi, Boski, Poker Kraut, and Owen all got flight and accommodation paid for. I did not. Ray's Rail, who lives on the East Coast, he didn't. So he's been having donations and things to help pay for his flight over there. But yeah, I'm excited. It should be a fun game. There a few notes about that game. I think along with Poker Kraut, along with Boski, that I think and Nimi seemed to agree that it'd probably work better, I think, as a 1-3 game with a 7-deuce rule or something, rather than the 5-5 no limit. The 5-5 game they're running is a $200 to $1,000 buy-in, and half the table is 1-2, 1-3 players predominantly, and so a $1,000 buy-in is still a significant amount of money to them, and it's not like you're playing a game with a bunch of clueless idiots either. So
right,
with straddles and stuff going on, it could play a lot bigger than you're used to.
Yeah, and that's a small max buy-in for that kind of a game. Mm-hmm. Was there any talk about making this a tournament? That seems to make more sense to me, because you get, even though most of you guys are cash players except Boski, so he may run over the table, but I wonder if that would have been I don't want to say more of an equalizer, but at the very least we would have had a champion at the end, and you guys could have had some kind of shitty fake wrestling belt that you could have passed around to each other, or some kind of trophy that says that you're the champion of the vloggers,
video camera of some sort.
Fuck yes, this needs to have. All right, so right here we are saying it now. For anybody that's in the vloggers game, none of them are going to fucking listen to this piece of shit. But, I mean, for anybody that's in that game, we are going to set up a vloggers tournament. Only tournament style, and we're going to have some kind of trophy with a little video camera at the top of it. And that is going to be the winner's purse right there. Everything else is going to be rake. It's going right into my fucking pockets. But everything, the trophy, it's the bragging rights. That is all you need from this game.
I don't know if there's talk about having a sit and go like that. I think it would be interesting. I think I mentioned it to a couple of people, and the thing that Stone said was that they didn't want to do that was just because then for a good majority of it, then a lot of the players wouldn't be playing in the game. They'd just be sitting by and doing nothing, and they'd rather have people playing all the time.
All right. I mean that makes a little more sense to me, just because they're paying to like fly people out in a not you,
Some
because
people,
yeah. Like you're the forgotten step bastard in this whole thing. But so I mean, if it's their dollar and they're the ones paying to bring these guys here, then they should want them on camera, because if somebody busts firsthand, yeah, all right, that makes a little more sense. But for me, I'm doing tournament. This is going to happen probably when I move into my new house, because I'll have a better table, a better setup, and everything else. We'll be able to mount cameras everywhere. Planning stages right here. You've heard it first. Keep talking about this fucking thing.
Yeah, so it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be streamed on Twitch and also on YouTube if you follow them on YouTube or on Twitch. Just Stones Live, or yeah, I believe it's Stones Live. Stones Gambling Hall is the name of the casino. You can watch it on either site, either YouTube or Twitch, and I believe it kicks off at 7 and should go until around 11 or so. There's no set time for it to end, they said, but yeah, so that should be cool. So yeah, we'll see what it is once we get there. I was talking to PokerCrout a couple days ago, and it seems like there may be a chance of it being a 1-3 game. I guess Stones wanted, they thought it would be more exciting if it was a bigger game, like a 5-5 game. Although that argument doesn't make too much sense, since they also regularly stream 1-3 games. So I'm not really sure, but it just seems like if more than half the players in the game normally play 1-3, that seems like what you should play. But enough about that. It should be a fun game. Should be pretty neat. I think really looking forward to it. And yeah, so it should be really good, especially for channels like mine that don't have the thousands of subscribers that the other guys do. Should be a pretty good boost to that.
Right. Well, and it's a good networking opportunity for you to start talking to people and say, hey, why don't you come on the podcast?
Right.
Because then we can bring people on and hopefully not have the shitty echoes that I had in the last episode from the third mic, because that sounded like garbage. Anyway, oh yeah, so if they're streaming, they're going to be doing, I assume, RFID cards, or are they having cameras on the table? Are you allowed to bring your own camera? How is this going to work?
Yes, it's going to be RFID cards, so as long as everyone places their cards in the right spot, they should show up. I've never played on an RFID table, so I guess I'll get coaching on where to place my cards in order to get them to show up. But yeah, and I'm pretty to my knowledge, I think we'll also be able to film. I know Bellagio didn't allow Nimi to film on when they were streaming something with Nevada gaming laws. When it was like being streamed, they couldn't do it. But I think, to my knowledge, I think it'll be able to be streamed. And if not, then you can still it'll be all available on YouTube after the fact. So when we're making our vlogs, we can just go on YouTube and use that content there to like go over different hands or whatever.
That's good. Yeah, I was worried that they were gonna, throw a copyright infringement on anybody that tried to use any of their footage, especially when going over hand histories. But if they're letting you do that, then that's gonna be really beneficial for you guys.
Yeah, and so it should be a good time and a good game. Really interesting to see how Boski is going to play in the cash game, if he's going to continue his fairly aggressive style of 3-betting King 4 suited, or if he's just maybe tighten up a bit, or I don't know. I'd expect him to. I expect if I get into any hands with Bokies, I'm just going to just pretty much never fold, and sometimes I'll probably get value down. But
yeah, well, and then he'll. Once you realize that he's been bluffing and you call him down with third pair, he'll put out a vlog and shake his head and go, "Never bluff a fish."
Yeah.
Fucking goon. No, seriously, I mean, I'll probably cut all this out, but Boski's he's the only vlogger out there right now I'm actively rooting against, because he just seems like such a fucking dunderhead. I haven't seen an entire vlog out of him. I actually haven't watched any of his in a long time, but it seems like he's just such a fucking like menacing presence. I don't know if that's the right word. Like, what am I trying to say here? The way he starts and ends the vlogs with like porn stars, and you know, like he's trying to play up like he's a big man, but in reality he's a sad, lonely fucker that just hangs around with his boxer all day and probably puts peanut butter on his balls for the dog to lick off. Like, whatever. I'm cutting all this out. In his latest vlog, like he ended like with like a 3-second shot of just like this, like the backside of this girl like in the shower, and it was just like a completely random 3-second clip to end the vlog. Like, not, it wasn't like his girl, like it was just a random picture of like, what a creep.
I was like, what? I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I wonder if he's just playing a character on for the vlog. He might be. I don't know. Maybe he has redeeming qualities out there. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought about trying to. I don't know if it's too late or not, but I thought about getting together with like Nimi or Owen or one of somebody who's actually being flown out to the game, and like meeting up at the airport with him, like, all right, let's go to the Vloggers game, and then like they put their hand on my shoulder, like, oh, I'm sorry, this is only for, you have to have like so many subscribers, you have to do this, you're gonna have to drive there.
Oh man, how many subscribers do you have right now?
I have like 200. It's fairly low. Yeah, so probably that's been a lot of this has been my fault. I haven't been putting out vlogs as regularly as I wanted to, but I do have a pretty I don't want to call it special, but I have an announcement coming up in my next vlog that should be in the next couple days that I think will add a pretty unique twist that none of the other vloggers have. So I think it should have a pretty good yeah.
There we go. All right, so you've heard it here first. We get a special announcement coming from Bike King 19 on his vlog. And hopefully we can start siphoning off some, you know, if you ever did any kind of fucking self-promotion, then maybe we can have more than 17 subscribers on this channel to, you know, if you start talking about it on your vlog a little more regularly. Why can't I talk today? Then we can do that. But I mean, you know, part of it's my fault too, because I've done, like, aside from Instagram, I don't think I've done any promotion of this thing whatsoever. So it's a little bit problematic. And, you know, like you said, getting content out on a regular basis is probably paramount when it comes to building, especially on a young vlog, like something that's just starting out. Like, we just did 2 weeks between episodes on the last one. I'm trying to get this one up by Monday, which is the 23rd, 24th, something like that. But I mean, for me, my summer got completely fucked. I decided to take a class this summer. I'm still in school. I'm still in grad school right now. I decided to take a class. It looked like it was going to be kind of a walk in the park, but it turns out not only is it going to be significantly more intensive than I realized, but we actually have a client that we're working for. There's a bank in northern Nevada that got a federal grant to run a like surveys and focus groups on children with disabilities in the Clark County School District. So we have to put together the model that they're going to use for this, the surveys, the focus group questions, like everything else. It's on us. So in 5 weeks we have to develop some kind of instrument that they're going to put together. And my comprehensive exams are coming up August 11th through the 14th, which are just going to be like, if I get 5 hours of sleep through that entire time, I will be lucky. Like, it's just going to be brutal. I get to spend the next like 3.5 weeks just reading stuff I haven't read in 3 years. So, not fun for me. It essentially means, number one, that my summer is completely screwed up, and number two, it pretty much means I'm going to be devoid of poker for the next like month. So I need to live vicariously through you, through the vloggers game, through the games around town and everything else. So we need regular updates from you through the vlog, through the podcast, through everything, so that I personally can keep up with how poker is going in this town.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like it could be your most profitable month in poker then.
Wow. Is he right? He might be right, actually. No, that's it's just brutal. I did qualify for Treasure Island. Through the month of June, they ran a free roll for anybody that won one of their tournaments. They had that the first weekend of July.
Yeah,
they're doing
fantastic.
this. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's just you got it in as what, like an 85% favorite and still lost. So what can you do? But they're doing the same thing again through July, and they're doing that first weekend in August. So I did win a seat to that, which is going to be my my respite. Which the sick thing was, I won it we chopped the tournament, but the seat was still available, so we had to high card for it. And I won the high card to get the seat.
How did you high card when you had like a third of the chips in play?
Because we got to the point where I took more money than anybody else in the chop, but it was after we decided on the chop, they announced that there was a seat in play. It was like, oh, we need to figure this out. It was like a 4-way chop. 2 of us were locals, and it was just me and the other guy that flipped for it. So I got the 50-50 off that, but no, I got the money off that one. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of Seat Open in Sin City. Thank you so much for joining us once again. All of our contact information is going to be in the information below. Leave us a like, leave us a comment. We read everything that gets posted, which thus far has been nothing. But if you want to contact us in any way, we do read anything that comes in.
Us.
Please, we are desperate for attention. We need people. But yeah, feel free to get in touch with us at all. Andrew, anything else for the good of the order?
I don't believe so.
All right, thank you very much for joining us once again. And now get the hell out of my house.